Good afternoon, Shavua Tov, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm your host, Raylene Marks, and let's take a look at today's top stories. Last week we spoke a lot about the Labour Party in the United Kingdom, as we are just days away from a major election. And last week a lot of controversy in the media as the chief rabbi of the United Kingdom wrote a op-ed that was featured in the Mail on Sunday, basically saying that the UK's Jews are feeling politically homeless and will continue to do so should Jeremy Corbyn come to power because of allegations of anti-Semitism within the Labour Party and scandals surrounding Jeremy Corbyn and his support of terror organisations as well as anti-Semitic incidents. And it seems that the party just doesn't seem to learn. Their slogan, for the many, not the few, seems to be more like for the many, not the Jew. Yesterday, the Labour Party released a promotional clip where they spoke about minority rights and how they would protect them and there's space for everybody, but glaringly absent was the Jewish community. And I really am at a loss for words. Is Jeremy Corbyn just such a raging anti-Semite? Is he so stupid he cannot see the temperature of what's going on in the country? Or is he just absolutely stubbornly refusing to acknowledge the problem? It really starts with him. Last week on a program of the BBC hosted by Andrew Weil, he was absolutely excoriated for anti-Semitism and refused to apologize no less than 4 times. And you would think after this he would learn a lesson and try, if not apologizing, at least reaching out to allay the fears of the Jewish community, many who feel that should he come to power in a couple of days' time, they may have to leave the country. And as you can well imagine, we'll be watching developments in the UK with a lot of interest and a lot of concern. More concern here in the country as Prime Minister Netanyahu faces down several indictment charges, and today Israel's Attorney General Avichai Mandelblit formally handed the charge sheet to Yuli Edelstein, the Speaker of the Knesset. This means that Prime Minister Netanyahu now has 30 days, not as previously reported from the 21st of November, but the clock starts today until the 1st of January to appeal to the Knesset for parliamentary immunity. And should the Prime Minister be granted parliamentary immunity, there's a possibility he will not have to stand or face the indictments from the Attorney General. But the Attorney General also saying earlier today that if Netanyahu goes on trial, and there is a likelihood it will happen, that the trial will be in Jerusalem. There are some 333 respondents against Prime Minister Netanyahu. So this is another story that the Israel Brief will be watching closely. And in final news today, the Defense Minister Naftali Bennett has greenlit a new neighbourhood in Hebron. Hebron is often referred to as a tinder stick, as relations between Jewish inhabitants and Palestinian inhabitants often flares up, and there are often international observers to add into the mix. But the Defence Minister has okayed the new neighbourhood, which will take place, will be built at the site of what was known as the wholesale market, which was purchased by the Jewish community of Hebron in the 19th century, but was then taken over when the Jordanians occupied the city. So at the site of the wholesale market, there will be an apartment block that will go up. However, there will be space made available for merchants to trade below. As you can imagine, this has not been well received by Palestinian rights groups. However, on the other side of the coin, many have applauded this decision by Israel's defense minister. So those are the top stories making headlines today. Don't forget that you can check out our online content at www.layoftheland.online. We update it every day, and if you don't check us out there, visit our Facebook page. We are at Lottelsouth. Simply look out for the logo that looks like this. Give us a like, give us a follow, share our content, invite your friends to the party. And very importantly, we are also available on YouTube. Our channel is called, as you guessed it, The Israel Brief. And all you have to do is simply click on the subscribe button and it will alert you every time we post a brief. This is important if we want to get Israel's side of the story out to the general public. So without further ado, and catching up with you tomorrow, I'm Rolene Marks, and this is The Israel Brief.